Let's get the thoughts of another former Spurs boss, shall we? It's a very good morning to Harry Redknapp. Morning, Harry.
Good morning, Harry.
Jeff, good morning.
So, Harry, Thomas Frank, the latest man in charge. Look, you know Daniel Levy well and how demanding he can be. What will Daniel expect of Thomas Frank in his first season, do you think?
Well, Daniel will be expecting certainly, a top six finish at the worst. I mean, and hopefully get another trophy. Yeah, I mean, as you know, Jeff, they've gone for an awful lot of good managers recently. You look at Conte's gone elsewhere and won titles again, and Jose, and there's, it's just one after the other, really. And he's got high expectations, and he won't be happy unless they're up there really pushing. He spent a fortune on the stadium, the training ground. He feels now, obviously, that they should be up there, and that certainly looking, really for a top four place, probably. That's what he'll be expecting.
You speak about what Daniel Levy would expect, but as a manager of Spurs, like you was, and successfully, Harry, what about the pressure from the fans? Because Spurs have lost to Chelsea 8 of the last 10 games. They've lost to Arsenal 7 of the last 10 games. Is the pressure on a Spurs manager to win them fierce derbies as well?
Yeah, it will be, Gabby. Yeah, I mean, there'll be, the fans will be expecting. Obviously, they're on a high now. It was obviously a disastrous season in the league, but a great season to win a cup. So, but next year they'll come full of optimism again, and the new manager, and I'm sure they'll make a few signings. And I think the nucleus of the squad is very good. I really do. I think when everybody's fit, if he can keep the squad fitter next year than what they did this year, then there's no reason he can't be up there challenging for a Champions League place. That became quite the norm, certainly under Pochettino, and a top four place was what was expected. So Daniel will be looking for that again.
Interested, you say, Harry, he'll be making a few signings. I'm sure he will be. To what degree will Thomas Frank have the say on those signings, or will he be presented with players?
Well, I'm hoping he has a big say in them, Jeff. Recruitment is key. The most important things is good players. I don't care, you're not going to suddenly turn them on the training ground into world beaters if they're not good players. You need good players. You play Saturday midweek. When do you get a chance to spend hours and hours on working with them on shape or whatever? So you need good recruitment, and that is going to be the most important thing. They recruited very well at Brentford. I think he might have took his recruitment guy with him. I'm not sure about it, but I think I did read something about that. So, yeah, they'll be hoping. They've changed the recruitment from last year. I think them people have all gone. That's going to be key for him. He gets people alongside him, and he has a big input as well into who comes in.
Well, I want to go into England now. There's been reports that players are finding Jude Bellingham intimidating on the pitch. That come from Thomas Tuchel as well. Luckily, I got to sit down with Rio yesterday, Harry, and he said that when he played, he would have been called intimidating then, because the way he sweared at players, argued with Wayne Rooney during games. What's your thoughts on Bellingham? Is he intimidating to players when you watch him?
No, he's a fantastic player, isn't he, Gabby? And he's got an edge to him. Let's not kid ourselves. He certainly wants to win for his life, and he shows that. I think he's got to temper it a little bit. I think he's a little bit petulant. That would probably be the word that you were looking for. But he's a great player, and he's a player that, going forward, will either him or Declan Rice will be the next England captain. I'm sure it'll be a toss-up between the two of them. They're both great players. They're both... so it'll be interesting. But if he's going to be the England captain going forward, then obviously he's got to be a leader, and maybe he's got to temper his attitude a little bit towards other people and not let them know so much. More encouragement perhaps than the iron fist. But no, he's a great player. I love watching him play. So yeah, he's still very young, isn't he? Was he 21? I mean, he's still learning, and England need him playing well, that's for sure, if we're going to be successful.
Just 4 games into Thomas Tuchel's reign, Harry, do you think he's already found out how tough a job it is?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I keep looking at it, Jeff, thinking what a squad we've got, what a group of players we've got. Yeah, I'm a bit, dismayed at one or two of his selections, to be fair, in the squad. But he's got an opportunity there with that group of players, the young players. The abilities, I say, the two lads I just mentioned, Saka, you go through them and, you still got Harry Kane, who's still, still as good as any centre forward around. So it's a squad, really, that we should be winning something. And, the pressure's going to be on him to do that. We've gone for a foreign manager for a change, and it's up to him now. Not for a change. We've had obviously Capello, we had Sven, but we've gone back to a foreign manager, and really he has got to produce. He does need to be. Need to be bang there when it comes to handing out trophies. And the World Cup is the big start for him. We need to go there and make a real good job of it.
The problem he's got, though, Jeff and Harry, is that there's 5 qualifiers and probably a couple of warm-up games. That's not a lot of time. He needs to figure out quickly, doesn't he, what is his likely starting lineup going to be, and give them games to get used to playing with each other.
Yeah. I mean, but he'll know how he wants to play. He'll know the players. He's got all day, every day to sit around. He's not out to. I know he hasn't got the players together, Gabby. Obviously, he only gets them for a short spell, but he knows them anyway. And what do the England managers do in the past? When you've got them for that short spell, same thing again. You get them together. They play on a Saturday for the clubs or Sundays. You get them. They play on a Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday for England. The training is minimal, really. It's you're bringing them in, you're doing a few set plays, perhaps a little bit of shape with them. But yeah, you're good players, getting them in the right positions, getting the best out of them. That is what his job is, really. And I think he's got a squad there that should be. It's about time we won something, I think, with that group of young players.
Yeah, absolutely. Harry, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Harry.
Well done, guys.
Top man,
thanks,
Harry.
Yourself. Text come in here as well while we were talking about Thomas Frank going to Tottenham. Morning, guys, said James. Who are Brentford looking at for a replacement manager? Nobody's talking about that. And we should be, really, shouldn't we? Can't afford to ignore Brentford. Established Premier League side now. And the name's being banded around. Kieran McKenna, Ipswich fans won't thank you for that.
Scott Parker I saw as well.
Scott Parker, but of course he's got a Premier League side that he's taking up. I saw Danny Rowe, the Sheffield Wednesday manager. Things are difficult at Wednesday, and he's been in demand. He was linked frequently with the Southampton job, and Michael Carrick's available now after leaving Middlesbrough. So
you'd hope they get it sorted soon as well, so that that manager can have his ideas and what players he wants to bring in and players that he doesn't want as well. So they've got to get it right, Jeff, like we spoke about earlier, because the Premier League is so tough now. The 3 that come up, who's Leeds, for instance, if they're the most likely to stay up, who are they going to replace? Who's going to go down instead of Leeds?
Really,
you've got to look at Brentford
really
as being one that could be in trouble.
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case from a Brentford perspective. Yes. Harry Redknapp talking about England. And, of course, Tottenham as well. And you'll have noticed he's wearing his Soccer Aid top. Don't forget, Soccer Aid live on talkSPORT this Sunday. Gabby's old sparring partner, Louis Tomlinson, is in the team.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.